Casino workers, what's the dumbest way you've ever seen someone lose everything? You ever watch someone make one decision and immediately know, yep, that's gonna end badly? Like slow motion disaster, front row seats, popcorn already in hand. Story 1. Man, 16 years in that casino life, right? You think you've seen everything. Nah, buddy, the house always got a new episode ready. Worst one that stuck in my chest? This sweet older couple always parked at my table 7 days a week like it was church. Dude turns around one night, hand out, all twitchy, and the wife just starts shaking, sobbing, ugly cry style. She slides him 2 wrinkled 20s and whispers, "Tom, this is it. We don't eat if you lose." I froze. Like, hold up. We gambling with grocery money now? Oh, hell no. I waved that bet off so fast my supervisor thought the table caught fire. But listen, craziest night? Some high roller clown says, dead serious, "One more loss, and I'm shitting on the floor." I'm like, "Sir, respectfully, please don't." Dealer flips blackjack. 2 seconds later, pants down. I'm standing there thinking, wow, this job got benefits, but dignity ain't one of them. Story 2. Man, this one felt like watching a movie where you already know the ending, but you still sitting there hoping the main character makes a different choice. Guy walks in with $300, just 3. Regular dude, not flashy, not loud. And from the first few hands, everything he touched turned to gold. Wind stacking, confidence growing, crowd circling, like seagulls around a fishing boat. Soon as he hit $5,000, we nudged him toward the high rollers pit. Told him folks might jump into his game and mess up his rhythm. He nods, says he'll go, but only if I walk with him. That's when I knew he trusted the table more than himself. And in that high-limit room, man was unstoppable. He kept doing this risky move. Lose a hand, double the bet, chase it right back. Dangerous strategy, but somehow it kept working. Chips piled higher and higher until the number got ridiculous. Almost $100,000 from 300. At that point, he pulls out his phone, hands shaking, big grin on his face. Calls his girlfriend and says, "Pack your bags. We're going to Vegas. We're getting married." Whole table smiling. Felt like a fairy tale moment. I remember thinking, okay, this is where he walks away and rides into the sunset. Then the tide turned. Loss. Another loss. Another one. Stack shrinks from 90 to 80. That's when I leaned in and told him straight, calm, but serious. Stop now. You won $80,000. That's life-changing money. He shakes his head, frustrated, voice tight. I just lost $20,000. If I win it back, I'll quit. And I'm standing there thinking, no, brother, you didn't lose 20. You're still up 80. But the brain don't work like math when adrenaline got the steering wheel. By the time his girlfriend walked through the door, every dollar was gone. And he owed $3,000 on markers. He stood up, saw her, wrapped his arms around her, and just broke down crying right there on the casino floor. No words. Just that deep, chest-shaken sob you feel in your bones. I remember looking at the empty spot on the table where $100,000 used to sit, whispering to myself, man, sometimes the dream don't crash slow. Story 3. Guy sits down at my $15 table with $200. Casual, relaxed. Next thing you know, boom, heater starts. I'm talking card after card, split after split, doubles hitting like fireworks on the 4th of July. Chips stacking so fast the rack can't keep up. 30 minutes later, dude sitting on about $13,000. Crowd gathering, phones out, everybody whispering like we watching a legend being born. He got a whole barrel of $500 chips in front of him, starting on a second one. I finish the shoe, lean in a little, give him that real dealer advice, the kind they don't put in training manuals. I tell him, calm and serious, brother, you beat the casino. It's time to run. Don't walk. Disappear. And for a second, I thought he heard me. But nah, instead, this man squares up, takes a deep breath, and goes, 3 hands, 1,500 each. I literally felt my soul leave my body. Like, oh no, we about to witness a live demolition. First hand, loss. Second hand, loss. Third hand, loss. Just like that, $13,000 evaporated into thin air. Crowd went from hype to dead silent in about 6 seconds flat. Then he starts making them desperate ATM runs. You know the walk. Fast steps, stiff shoulders, eyes wide, hope hanging on by dental floss. Next thing I know, he's down about $2,500 total, standing there, sobbing to the pit boss. Full breakdown. Tears, shaking hands, whole body defeated. Tells us he spent everything, can't even pay to get out of the parking garage. Story 4. I walked in for my morning shift, still half asleep, smelling like cheap coffee and bad decisions, and the whole pit got that weird buzz in the air. You know that energy? Quiet excitement, Dealers whisperin', supervisors hoverin'. They point over to this young dude at the blackjack table. Fresh face, hoodie, looking like he just wandered in off a college campus. Somebody leans over and tells me, "Kid bought in for $2,000. He's up 90,000. 90,000. I look at him like, man, you accidentally unlocked the cheat code to life. Cash out, call your mama, pay your rent for a year, disappear into the sunlight like a responsible adult. But nah, he stayed. Hours go by, cards keep flying, the energy shifts real slow, like a storm rolling in. Stack gets smaller, smile fades, shoulders tense up. You can literally feel the table holding its breath, and we all watching, nobody saying a word. But inside, every dealer and pit boss thinking the exact same thing. Leave. Please, just leave. 4 hours later, every last dollar gone. Back to zero. Room got real quiet after that. I remember shuffling the cards, looking down at the empty felt where 90 grand used to sit, muttering under my breath, man, sometimes winning ain't the hard part. Story 5. I was working as a hostess on the top floor, fancy section, looking down over the roulette tables like it was a live-action soap opera. You see everything from up there. The wins, the losses, the slow-motion disasters, and this one dude, man was on fire. I watched him turn 50 grand into 250 like it was nothing. Chips stacking high, dealer smiling, whole table buzzing. He was feeling himself too, tossing tips around, thanking staff, strutting out like a champion. I remember thinking, okay, big man, go enjoy that victory lap. Respect. So I keep working, finish my shift duties. Then around 1 a.m., I head down for lunch and step outside to the smoking area. Quiet out there, neon lights humming, cold air hitting your face. And who do I see sitting on the bench? Same guy, head buried in his hands, shoulders shaking. He looks up at me, eyes red, voice rough, and asks, "Hey, you got a cigarette?" I hand him one. No questions, just vibes. Then I notice he's crying. Not drunk, loud crying, but that defeated, silent kind where your whole body just collapses inward. He tells me he went to celebrate, had some drinks, came back to the tables, and lost everything. Every last dollar, then kept playing, lost even more. And listen, real talk, people crying in the smoking area? That wasn't rare. That place was basically the unofficial confession booth of the casino. But this one hit different, because just a couple hours earlier, I watched this man walk out looking like a king. Now he's sitting there in the cold, broke, whispering to himself like he's trying to rewind time. Story 6. I was working the cage that night. You know, the little glass window where dreams come in as numbers and leave as regrets. Quiet shift at first. Then this guy walks up, calm, polite, normal looking, asks to withdraw 10 grand from his checking. No drama. I hand it over, he nods, walks back to the floor. 30 minutes later, he's back. Same request. Another 10,000. Now I'm thinking, okay, big spender, high roller type. Happens. But then, another 30 minutes. Guess who back at my window? Again, same amount, same blank expression. At this point, my brain start whispering, we speedrun bankruptcy tonight, or what? Fourth time he comes up, the vibe different, a little sweaty, little shaky, that calm confidence, gone. Now he's digging through his wallet like he's searching for oxygen, starts doing cash advances on credit cards, swipe, print, sign, over and over for hours. I'm watching this slow-motion car crash behind bulletproof glass, powerless. Then, right before my shift ends, here he comes again, face pale, eyes tired. Wallet wide open like a crime scene. He's running every single card he got. One by one. Declined, declined, declined. Each beep sounding louder than the last. Finally, he looks up at me, voice small, almost embarrassed, and asks, "Do you guys offer credit?" When I told him no, I swear I saw relief and panic fighting each other on his face at the same time. All together, he burned through about 120 grand in a single night. Not the biggest loss I ever seen, but definitely one of the fastest ways I ever watched a man realize the bottom got a basement. Story 7. I worked in casino finance for a minute. Spreadsheets, databases, numbers everywhere. Real quiet job. No chips, no lights, just cold math and coffee breath. And one slow afternoon, I got curious. Ran a little query in the system. First list, players with over $100,000 in lifetime winnings. Result pops up, about 300 people. Mostly blackjack and baccarat regulars. Not shocking. Felt normal. Then I flipped the filter. Same threshold, but losses instead of wins. Screen loaded, and I literally leaned back in my chair like, oh, damn. Over 4,000 people. That's when the illusion cracked for me. You realize real quick the word win in casino language don't mean victory. It just means accounting category. Somebody's win is always somebody else's loss, and the house keeps the scoreboard. And the wildest part? The prediction system. They call it THEO, theoretical win. Basically, a forecast of how much money you're expected to lose every visit. Sounds like guesswork, right? Nah. That thing was scary accurate. After about 10 trips, the model knows you better than your own budget spreadsheet. You lose about $350 a trip? Cool. Marketing sends you free meals, maybe a room, little perks to nudge you to $500 next time. And guess what? Most folks take the bait every single time. Hook, line, and sinker. I used to read those daily reports and think, man, this ain't gambling anymore. This is behavioral science with cocktails. And yeah, the analytics part was fascinating. Numbers lined up clean, predictions hitting targets, strategy working like clockwork, but the human side? That part stuck in my throat, especially when you saw people dropping $10 million a year at a regional casino like it was a subscription service. That's when I realized you can love the math, but still hate what the math is doing. Story 8. Yeah, I repair poke machines out in these small rural towns. The kind where everybody knows everybody, and the pub is basically the town hall, therapy office, and casino rolled into one. Quiet place, until you open the machine logs. Man, the turnover numbers will make your eyebrows jump clean off your face. I'm talking money moving through those machines like floodwater after a storm. There's this one lady, regular, polite, always dressed neat, who drops $40, sometimes $50,000 a week. Every week. Like clockwork. And the official responsibility from the pub? They just gotta ask, are you okay? Would you like a cup of tea? That's it. That's the intervention. I remember standing there thinking, ma'am, you don't need chamomile. You need a financial fire extinguisher. And when folks lose, oh man, that calm, polite energy disappears real quick. I've rolled up to machines with smashed screens, buttons ripped clean out, plastic cracked like somebody took a hammer to their own reflection. Pure rage. The kind that comes from watching hope evaporate in real time. You're kneeling there with a toolbox, sweeping up busted glass, and all you can think is this ain't entertainment anymore. It's a pressure cooker. Story 9. After almost 10 years in the casino, you start asking yourself a weird question. What even is a bad loss? Because I've dealt to a wealthy Chinese businessman who dropped $12 million in one sitting. $12 million. And he barely blinked. Just adjusted his cufflinks, nodded politely, ordered another drink like he misplaced a set of car keys. To him, that loss was background noise. Pocket lint with commas. Then I dealt to this older lady who lost $1,000. Not dramatic, not loud, but you could tell that money was her entire cushion. Whole safety net, gone. And the wild part? She didn't even look upset, just calm, too calm. Like she'd already accepted the fall before she stepped off the ledge. That kind of quiet acceptance? Man, that's scarier than screaming. But the one that still messed with my head, that was a marathon session. Guy was on an insane heater when my shift ended. Up about $9 million. Table buzzing, staff whispering, everybody thinking we watching history. I clock out, go home, sleep, come back next day ready for another round. And guess who's still sitting there? Same suit, same chair, same table. Except now, the mountain of chips was gone. Not just the $9 million he won, he lost that too. And then another $15 million on top of it. I walk in, and he actually smiles when he sees me. Says, I'm his lucky dealer. I'm standing there like, sir, respectfully, your luck packed its bags about 12 hours ago. And the craziest part? He was already wiring more money in. Story 10. My boy worked casino security, right? Big dude, calm voice, the type who's seen everything twice and stopped being surprised years ago. One night we grabbing food, and he starts telling stories, casual as hell, like he talking about the weather. He goes, yeah, we gotta kick people out for soiling themselves every couple weeks. I almost choked on my fries. I'm like, hold up, every couple weeks? Not once a year? Not rare? Routine maintenance? He shrugs, deadpan. Says sometimes it's older folks, medical stuff, can't help it. Sometimes it's drunk people wobbling around, brain offline, body on airplane mode. That part, sad, but understandable. But then he leans in a little and goes, nah, most of the time, it's gamblers. I pause, real slow. Gamblers? He nods. Says these folks be sitting at the slot machine for hours, eyes locked in, convinced the jackpot is about to hit any second, and they refuse to leave. Bathroom break? Too risky. What if somebody swoops in and hits their machine? So instead, they just stay. I sat there staring at him like, Ain't no way. Y'all telling me grown adults really choosing the jackpot over basic human dignity? He takes a sip of his drink, cool as ever, and goes, "Yep, happens more than you'd think." And I remember leaning back in my chair, whispering to myself, man, that ain't gambling anymore. That's captivity. That's the story for today. But there's plenty more where that came from. Stay tuned, because the next one might be even crazier.